In the upper left is our red Terran. A very, very solid player. Here to prove himself again in Code S. He is
GSL August.
alive. He is so focused right now. What?
Alive.
No one leaves here alive. In the middle right, our macro Terran.
Which is top.
Oh, Top was good at that one. He was better than the girl at that.
Yeah, he did a great job.
Well done, Top.
Which is Top is the best.
He's good. Just getting focused, staying in the zone.
Can Alive Og stop his opponent?
Can he what?
Can he Og stop him?
Oh, I get it.
OGS Top, Og stop.
Og stop. I forgot you used to call him that.
Og stop, dude.
Og stop.
Yeah. Used to call him that when all he did was Reaper rush me on the ladder. Just goes 5 racks Reaper every game, like, oh, thanks, Og stop.
Note, one player checking the watchtower in the middle, the other opting not to.
Alive has gone for a gas opening, whereas Top looks like he's just going to go for a very quick command center. I got to tell you, nowadays I was really digging the gasless expands, or rather the gasless command center. You normally don't float it down too quickly, but that was my favorite for a little bit, Tasteless. But nowadays I like some of these Banshee openings into Blue Flame Hellion and expand. I'm going to go ahead and say that's my favorite type of build right now in TVT. I know you wanted to know. There you go. There's your answer.
Thank you. I couldn't hold out any longer.
You can finally stop bugging me about it.
All right.
Swear to God, middle of the night, 4 a.m. I got a text
up.
message from Tasteless. Hey, what's... Tell me. You didn't tell me today. What you've been thinking about it. What's your favorite TVT build? And I said, Tasteless, don't text me at 4 a.m. I see a text from you. I'm like, oh, Tasteless is in the hospital. I like get up, start putting my socks on, and then I read the text to see which hospital it is. But no, he just wants to know my TVT preferences. Tasteless, it has to end.
All right. It'll end here. I just had to know. It's about the truth, Artosis. And me getting to the bottom of it.
Well, Detective Tasteless. Tasteless Holmes.
It's elementary. Nubson.
Ooh, this is kind of cool from Alive. And oh my God, the SCV sneaks his way in, and he's going to see that Reaper that Alive was saving for later. He's building a second Reaper. He was saving it. Oh my God.
This actually screws up a lot of stuff for Alive right now.
Yeah, it does. Knowing a Reaper is
that
out.
was an unusual timing there to send the SCV up into the ramp.
Yeah, it
really was. You would just expect.
One thing I do have to say is more people just need to go for it. And sometimes if you just go for it, actually Wolf was telling me this the other day, I'm like, I actually agree. Sometimes you just need to go for it with your scout, man. Sometimes you get up that ramp and you see stuff.
I know, it's absolutely true.
All right, so Alive is actually going 4 barracks right now, which is insane. We never really see this. So I think he's actually going to set oh my God. And
I am surprised not both of those Reapers were killed right there.
Top is keeping a lid on it.
Hey, buddy, I can poke you now.
Funny. And it looks like Alive, Alive is just going to upgrade and go for a lot of Marines and perhaps some Marauders. Really interesting choices. And so far from Top, as we see, he is going 1-1-1, teching up. Blue Flame Hellions and probably get out some...
I think we might just see some kind of wonky timing attack here.
I think that's definitely what Alive is
from Alive, because look, Top saw the Reapers, but I mean that doesn't mean that they're going to go Reapers or even Marine Marauder the entire game. And I think what he's actually going to do is just bust out with a bunch of infantry and try to chase Top up his ramp.
Yeah, Top is going mech, and he's going to have a lot of Blue Flame Hellions now. The kind of cool thing about this build we're having from Alive, he's starting Marauder production now. He's getting his combat shields and his concussive shells. And if he has a decent Marauder contingent plus Marines to back it up, there is a very good chance he will just run over someone who is making almost pure Hellions, because almost pure Hellions You know, that's not something that's really going to stop an army based upon
a big, massive ball of Marines and Marauders is not going to be what the Hellions want to face up on. Hellions are good at, like, okay, now he knows, he's scanned, top knows, so if he's ever going to react, now's the time. And if he, I don't know, I mean, he might want to attack pretty soon here.
He is making a siege tank. He has not started siege mode yet.
But yeah, when you have a bunch of Hellions, I mean, that's great at getting a bunch of units that are retreating, stuff like that. But if you're going to be hitting this big arc of Marines and Marauders, you might be DED.
Very true. Well,
did.
Alive does not seem to be moving. In fact, he's making a factory, which is a little bit surprising to me. Of course, he's not going to take any damage from Blue Flame Hellion drops or anything. He has beautiful spreads of his units, but as we see, Top is going mech. And if you think you're just going to sit there and go Marine Marauder against mech all day, well, it's going to work only if they mess up. If they push out very slowly, take the third as they can, and max out off of it, then push around the map slowly, you're not going to be able to break them, really. Turtling with mech beats Marine Marauder.
All right. Here comes a little Reaper.
Oh, look
getting
at this.
revenge. You killed my friend.
Normally Reapers don't even have friends. It's very hard for them to make friends.
No,
normally only one is made for
Well, they're not very social.
Well, no.
You know, they're like the guy
Reapers,
that goes
man.
camping alone.
They're Reapers. They're always grim. Who wants a friend like that?
Nobody.
Exactly.
Now, I think Top is probably a little bit surprised there hasn't been a big attack yet. But I don't know, this is sort of a weird situation Alive's in right now.
Well, it certainly looked like it was going to be a big attack, and I think that if it were a timed-out attack with stim in it, it might have been able to do a lot of damage. But now Top is, he's getting his, he's already got his siege mode, in fact. He's got a good defense. I don't know, man. Ooh, this is...
Uh-oh, there's a little hole in the defense.
Now, Live did not notice what was happening, didn't move his units in position.
Yeah, that was actually a very late reaction there from Alive.
Yeah.
Considering. Uh-oh.
Hasn't done a lot of damage yet, but... Oh, got to be careful there. Don't want to lose that medevac full of Hellions.
Sometimes we see Terran players park this medevac just up in that upper left location and just keep this pressure so that it's really difficult for, in this case, Alive to leave his base.
That's very true. But right now, Alive is making a Viking to try to, head that off. He knows what Tasus likes. He knows everyone should like it, so he's getting ready for it.
Well, that's the way the world works.
Yep. Flames. Just killing an SCV. It's almost the most successful of their harassment thus far.
Oh, this angle's actually great. You can get these SCVs here. So surprisingly enough, not actually getting... Oh, my God. Barely.
And everything will be taken out.
No one leaves here alive.
I've been... stopped.
What? What?
I can't repeat it, man. It was just too terrible. Can't do it.
Sorry, buddy.
I'll tell you later. Someone caught it. Someone thinks it's funny.
All right, it looks like it's Live's turn to kind of move out on the map. He's probably feeling pretty confident after deflecting that harassment.
Top, though, is actually playing a beautiful mech game thus far. I like that third expand very quickly by Alive, but Top is actually already making a turret ring. He's got his sensor tower up. He's using his Vikings to kind of patrol the area and starting his command center at a very nice timing. Hopefully he will slowly push out to whichever third base it is that he wants to take. Probably the one right below.
In the middle, one of the three middle expansions.
Yeah, I think the middle one is probably the best for him here. The other one is a little bit too far away, a little bit too spread thin. And if he sieges up just right, he'll be able to guard everything, basically, by taking that middle expand. By the way, Alive with a beautiful sensor tower as well, right in the middle, showing off his map control. Rubbing it in. And now, ooh, that's going to be a fourth command center, actually, for Top.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He does actually have a little extra command center. Oh, hold that thought. Yeah, he does have that extra command center next to his expansion.
Now, Top has to be very careful, very methodical about this. He is getting his third factory to Tech Lab, so we're going to see more and more siege tanks.
Now, theoretically, Alive could set up a contain, but the problem is that it's going to be very easy for Top to just push through it.
He's only got a few siege tanks, but Alive now has his second factory up, as you see, and he is, in fact, going for a lot more siege tanks. So if he sets up a pretty solid contain with siege tanks, and then just as his opponent tries to unsiege and move forward, stims and moves in, that's a great scenario for Alive. Pure Marine Marauder, no. A nice contain, yeah.
All right, we see the Terran moving out now. Top moving out now, rather. They're both Terran. And Alive has somewhat of a little late contain. And remember, there's more Vikings, more siege tanks here for Top.
Taking out those medevacs. That's pretty huge right there. Killing 3, I think that was. Wow. So Top, he has his third base up, and now he's going to want to sit and max out. This is even where he is right now. It's just slightly dangerous, but there's a lot of sensor towers out there to help him see if anything's coming. I love the sensor tower play. That makes them almost unattackable as long as they keep looking at their mini-map.
Yeah, they can track movement easily.
Yeah.
And don't forget that orbital over there. Oh my God, beautiful! Look at this. There's like almost no medevacs out here, and this is one of the reasons why we're seeing mech more often in Terran versus Terran. Is once you get deeper in the game, Vikings with siege tanks are pretty scary. I mean, there's not a lot you can do with Marines and Marauders unless, you know, let's say you catch them in a funky angle. But Marines and Marauders, they can't just like run into siege tank fire.
No, they cannot. Top setup right now is absolutely beautiful. In fact, taking out a live sensor tower that's going to make him feel a little bit less secure. And look at that. I like that. Trying to drop Marines on the siege tanks, just reduce the number of siege tanks. That's all he's going for right now. Very nice move. He saw an opening and got 4 of them. Right now we have 68 SCVs for Alive, 63 for Top. But Alive right now maxed out against the 160 up top, which is fine because you should max out much slower with mech. But again, Top should be trying to max out before truly making a push across the map. And he's making more command centers. Wow.
He will probably be maxed out in the next maybe 2 or 3 minutes here. And yeah, he is just taking expansions everywhere. Now, one weird thing about Terran vs. Terran on this map is that you both basically have expanding in the same direction. In this case, it'd be the bottom.
Now he's moving through Jasos. Does Top see this?
Top not responding as quickly as we would have thought.
Does siege up. This could be dangerous. He's going for it. A lot of siege tanks coming in, and Alive, he's committing a ton of units to this. Running past most of the units up top. This is going to force Top to siege.
And of course, the Marauders are very good in engaging unsieged siege tanks. And look at this, taking out so many Hellions, siege tank, SCVs now. But Top responds very well to this one siege tank contained over here.
Using his landed Vikings to take out some more siege tanks as cost efficiently as he can, just making so many command centers. He actually has a ridiculous amount of command centers right now. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 commands right now for Top.
Alive played a much more conservative game here, but the problem is it looks like Top, you know, in about 5 or 6 minutes from now, Top is going to be in such a good position.
Yes.
I do not know if Alive can handle it.
Well, Alive needs to transition to a few more siege tanks than he's actually doing, and he's staying... Well, he's getting his Viking count up now, which is going to help out a lot, because if you don't, then some air switches can do really, really well. You know, you mix in a few Banshees, and everything goes to hell.
All right, so many siege tanks out here right now. 4. Oh, hold that thought. We have the Marauder spotting this expansion. Now, he may want to send his small group of units down there to do some harassment. Meanwhile, a Hellion drop coming up here. But again, there's so many siege tanks here for Top. It's actually insane.
Yeah. Well, Top still very slowly maxing out. And nice, using his Vikings to his advantage. Luckily, with those sensor towers, he's going to know if anything's moving forward. He can always use scans. He's just going to have to save a few more.
Here we have a drop, and these SCVs are retreating.
Oh, he lines them up.
He's not even splitting them right now. And this is just beautiful.
As SCVs approach infinity, they form a straight line, tasteless.
Nice little drop over here. Alive denying Top that expansion. Top maybe asked himself, did I make too many command centers against a unit mixture that's more mobile than what I have?
Well, the good thing about making too many command centers means when that one dies, he has another one to fill its place.
That is true. Now trying to bust through the middle here.
Taking out some siege tanks on the side. Top does have a Thor out now to help against these Vikings.
Yeah, that was a good move there to just switch that right into a Thor once he realized his Viking count was lower.
Certainly do help in those battles. Now, there have actually, well, he has 19 tanks, but there's 10 tanks for Alive, and his unit composition is actually getting really cool. He has 10 tanks and 10 Vikings right now. Of course, still a lot of Marines and Marauders, but the more he transitions into some of these heavier units, I feel in a lot of ways that's going to benefit him quite greatly. He can cut the map in half and take the bottom expansions and have nice, strong siege lines with some Marine Marauder backup. That can be quite powerful. Quite hard to deal with.
All right. Now we're just sort of waiting to see what the next move from Top or Alive is going to be. Definitely, as this game goes on, it's going to be much more focused on the bottom part of the map.
Yes.
I think right now it's basically all the attention is kind of focused on the center. And nice. One Banshee coming out here. Whenever you get that big Viking lead, send out one Banshee. And you can start taking out tons of siege tanks.
And that's exactly what he's doing, Tasteless. Look at this. He loses more and more Vikings. Top committing Vikings to battles they can't win. But here comes the Thor. He'll definitely help out quite a bit.
So many siege tanks are going to be killed here with this one Banshee. And that's actually giving him a critical position. Nice save.
That's quite some range on that Thor, Tasteless. But Top really needs to secure that area because he is trying to expand to that 12 o'clock base. So it's very good that he's cleared that out. Top, he stretches siege tank line about as far as he can get it right now.
Yeah, he's stretching it pretty thin right now. Meanwhile, Alive is now maxed out, so it looks like he's going to keep most of his attention over here on the small army at the bottom of the ramp. Note, because Top isn't maxed out, he can't focus as easily on expanding these locations. You can see he's trying to with this command center over here, and this other one over here that he's just sort of landed. But the truth of the matter is it's going to be pretty tough for Top to maneuver around until he has to max out like Alive does.
Yeah, that's very, very true. But he keeps losing groups of units. He's lost a lot of Vikings for absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
He's lost some siege tanks to that Banshee. And he's got to be careful about that. He could have maxed out already and been pretty scary in his pushes. But again, Alive is doing this great job of having a good number of siege tanks and just using the Marines and Marauders to supplement the containment and be a little bit more mobile on the map. And look at how many circles are actually on this map, Tasteless.
It's the sickest Venn diagram of all time.
Like the sickest Venn diagram of all time met the Olympic rings.
Ooh. Now, you really see Top does not have a lot of room to move around. He actually is going to send Stimney's Marauders into here. No.
Hold on, though. Top actually right now has more Vikings.
Gone up to the top of the map here, taking out all these SCVs. Very nicely done.
Only a couple Marines in there, though, so the Orbital will be able to get away. Top slowly but surely is going to push back in there. Notice the mining saturation right now everywhere. Giving you guys a little look-see.
That was a nice move by Alive. It's just one more little thing to slow down Top's economy while Alive has a slight edge.
You know what's really smart by Alive is he's trying to stop this 12 o'clock base. That's actually very important to him right now because he's more mobile. It's hard for Top to expand to the bottom bases right now.
Right.
And because of that, 12 is the important expansion at this moment in this game. That's the expansion that Top
very
has
well
the
said,
potential
Artosis.
To hold. So
very
Alive,
well said.
Thank you. Alive is going to go ahead and just throw some command centers up down there. May as well. But if he can just deny this 12 o'clock, which it really looks like he can at this point. Top has mismaneuvered his units too many times. He hasn't reached max supply yet. Really, I'm so impressed by Alive. He's playing such a solid game, despite an opening that was a little bit inferior to what Top opened with. He's transitioned it into this beautiful containment that's pretty mobile. I mean, his army, not quite as good, but he's doing a great job. Look at this. Even
that's
keeps tech switching as well. I'm loving it, man.
And he's going to get rid of these siege tanks. And now there's even a bigger opening here for Alive to basically occupy that location. I don't even think Alive's interested in expanding there. He just doesn't want to let Top get it.
Exactly. He doesn't really care about that right now. He doesn't need to secure that. He can secure some of these bottom expansions pretty easily. And Alive right now has just made every situation into something uncomfortable for Top. This is actually going to show what kind of grit Top has. You have to be so calm, so patient to break something like that.
I think he's actually going to lose this orbital at the top.
Yeah, it does look
it's
like it.
21 hit points and burning. And I don't think we're going to get a shot of it for you guys. Too late, but it did explode.
It did.
Is what's important.
The pieces just explode up in the air. Well, this is a hard spot for Top, man. I just love this. Part of TVT with Siege Tanks is making uncomfortable situations for your opponent to try to get out of.
Yeah.
And that's
it's
one
a
thing
stressful thing, too. Once you get put in that position, you're like, well, this is something I can't go into. I really got to engineer something extravagant if I'm going to try to get out of this position.
Both players have 19 Vikings at the moment.
Nice point defense drone.
And I think a lot of that was actually a clear supply.
I think so.
By the way, Top, well, that's a nice move right there, but Top has lost a lot of SCVs throughout this. You know, we just keep seeing random SCVs die, and it's actually taking its toll. He's at 38 SCVs against 59 of Alive. And they both have about 20 Vikings and some Thors, so this is a hard situation to actually get out of.
Base is under attack.
Well, how far is it? How far is Top from being mined out?
Well, Top is very close to being mined out, Tasteless. He really needs to secure one of these bases ASAP. And we see he is pushing towards that.
Yeah, I think it's almost to the point in time where Top is going to have to tap out.
Alive is actually almost overdoing it on Vikings at this point. He's making 5 Vikings at a time, just switching over to almost pure air.
Well, I think he knows that the only way that the other player is going to get out, Top is that if he gets a Banshee, and tries to pick off siege tanks.
That's
because the Thor is great against shooting down Vikings, but you can't actually like break and contain with it.
The thing is, you know, while that's quite true, the siege tank count has been falling dramatically for Alive. He's down to just 9 siege tanks, only 4 in the center. Right now, Top can actually unsiege and go in and do some really serious damage.
I guess the question is he fully aware of that?
By the way, it's 31 Vikings against 19 Vikings. More Vikings on the way for Alive. Actually, what should occur right now is the landing of all Top's Vikings, an unsiege, and an attack move. He would actually break through pretty much everything that there is right now for Alive. It's very dangerous to actually make Vikings in that number.
Yeah, he's getting
Unless
to...
you have battlecruisers too.
Well, there's just so many. Vikings are not that good on the ground either, which is one of the problems. All right, here we go. He needs to get up here quickly with his Vikings and take this out. This is exactly what I was talking about with the Banshees. That is the only thing that Top's going to use right now to try to break contains, try to pick up siege tanks here and there. Wow, that Banshee's so dead. That was like 60 missiles flying at him.
Wow, well, we have a bajillion point defense drones, and Top should lose this despite the Thor and despite his quick point defense drones. Wow.
Oh my god, he melted that. Now he can just land on the Thor if he even wants to.
Yeah. And wow, did those take a lot of damage from the Thor. Well, again, Top, I feel like he missed his timing here because Alive is just going to remax out after all that, and it's not going to be on pure Vikings. In fact, he's not making any anymore. So the scenario where his supply was too disproportionately into Vikings is now gone, and so are Top's chances to actually win this game. He's not going to be able to remax himself, and Alive has played a beautiful and brilliant game with, in my opinion, very few mistakes.
Yeah, it's been pretty bulletproof so far, and I have to say, the position he was holding in the center that's actually really hard to do.
Yeah.
That was actually something I'd expected Top to just kind of muscle his way out of, and he didn't. He
transitioned into the 2-fact siege tanks at just the right time, and he stemmed and moved in on misplaced siege tanks at just the right times. And he's put up a stunning game.
Doing a lot of nice damage over here on these siege tanks. Driving Top back, and now take a look-see there. Using the orbital in his main, he's actually just going to land that at the location that Top was trying so very hard to get.
And his Thor is going to start killing a lot of these Vikings as they've already taken so much damage.
I'm surprised, though, that Alive isn't doing more about this expansion that Top's managed to get at the bottom right.
Oh, he's moving some units. Don't you worry, Tasteless.
Well, oddly enough, he's sending them... Okay, now he's turned them. Before he was sending them towards that bottom left starting location. I was like, what is he doing?
Well, as he takes this out, Top may want to... Well, I don't think he will GG, but this is kind of what this means. Top is not really mining at this point. He's going to lose that command center as well. Doesn't have the money to refill that, really.
And that orbital is definitely 100% going to burn down. Meanwhile, at the top of the map, we're going to shut at the top of the map. Another attack going on here. As Top is just desperate. At this point in time, he's almost grasping at straws.
Yeah.
To try to get back into this game. And Alive has had a bulletproof Terran versus Terran that I think we can all take a lot away with.
Yeah, you know, he's done a great job, and here he goes, deciding now to move in. Now is the time. Ton of units coming in there, and he will clean up.
Beautiful. That is beautiful, Artos. That is just beaut.
Is it?
It's beaut.
Excellent.
Look at that. He is completely disarmed one of the biggest macro Terran we really have here. I mean, everybody just talks about how good this guy is at producing stuff. And now, look, he's making a ton of orbitals. Either that or he's going to make planetaries and try to humiliate Top. Top barely held that off, but, you know, the remnants of his army is not going to be enough for him to come back and have any dominance on the map.
Well,
landing a mule.
Top's still trying here. Surprisingly, Alive really never got that extra base mining, so he's actually quite low as well, but Top is pretty much dead from here. He has almost nothing left over. And Alive is making 5 command centers.
Getting orbitals for everything. Now, he's got to be careful because Top, I think, should be dead, but you just be careful, you know. Don't get too cocky and screw up the game.
Well,
all right, now that he's stripping that out, yeah, Top is dead.
Yeah, Top, I'm like looking around for his units. He has almost none. He's at 40 supply.
There's nowhere that he can really mine from.
Yeah.
The only place, I guess, is that top center location, which obviously Alive has his eyes on. The other expansions are too far out of the way. So we have an SCV Centipede coming down here.
We have a Hellion that's about to get a quadrillion kills.
Oh my God.
15 here. Dropping a ton of mules as well. This Hellion might kill everything Tasteless. And this is
what
actually...
the hell?
I actually can't believe he dropped those mules when he saw this Hellion with now the 33 kills. This commander. It's about as high as a Hellion normally gets.
What is the limit on how many kills you can get?
In StarCraft 1, it was 255. I don't know if there is one here. I haven't used Banshees much, so I couldn't quite tell you.
This is actually insane. Well, if we look at the unit counting station, it's now 11 SCVs to 16 SCVs. But now, of course, Top is losing all of his SCVs as well.
19 supply to 89. These blue flames, though, man.
Well, here comes the finishing blow.
Alive drops mules into the base.
Let me tell you something, guys. These two players are going to be exhausted after this game.
That's a very good point. A very, very good point.
A very tiresome game. Tiresome. That was even tiring to cast. That was a long, dramatic game, but I'm still pumped. Now, Alive has got to be feeling like such a badass right now.
You know, that was a tough game for Top because Alive played it about as well as you can with a Marine Marauder composition, transitioning into these pretty hard contains where you're just constantly checking and stimming and running in if they're trying to break you too quickly. Yeah. But, you know, Top ran into this one situation that's really hard, and StarCraft 1 Terrans will really know what I'm talking about, where if your opponent overcommits either in an area or with something like dropships or something like that and just randomly gets too many, or at one point the middle of the map absolutely could have been broken, absolutely could have been taken over with minimal losses by Top towards the end of that game. And he didn't actually realize that. Instead, he went up and had that sick Viking fight. He never really knew I guess he didn't know the Viking count, or maybe it never hit him that if I land these and go in the middle right now, I control the entire map.
He is absolutely correct. There was a moment where there were like 32 Vikings on the
32
map,
Vikings.
and it's like at that point in time,
And
you
the rest of his
just
army was
give
small.
up air dominance. You just give it up. You're like, we're not even going to fight over the air. Land all the Vikings and try to break the siege tanks before he can
It was
land
only
his
4
Vikings.
siege tanks in the middle for top. That was his entire day. Was that and like a couple marauders?
Yeah.
You land those Vikings on top of that while his Vikings are up stopping that Banshee. You unsiege everything and you go, and you have the map, and all he has is a bunch of crappy Vikings.
All right. Well, we can take a look at our results so far. As you can see, it's been some exciting games. We're going to take a 5-minute break, so we'll be right back here at the GSL. I'll see you soon.